Hello everyone, my name is Haruna Dennis Ibrahim. If you are watching me for the very first time, you are welcome and I hope you're all doing fine. My contents are usually focused on the mind and how our thoughts correlate with our everyday experiences. And you can always go back and watch my previous presentations because they're usually continuations of previous ones. Have you ever thought if there could be a correlation, or have you ever wondered if there could be a correlation between your thoughts and your everyday experiences? Everything is created twice, and we all know that. But very few of us understand the power behind knowing that the shirt I'm wearing had to be someone's thought before it came into reality. The chair I'm sitting on had to be taught by someone before it came into reality. The aim here is to bring us back to memory, bring us back to our very divine nature, bring us back to consciousness. I pray that today's presentation will be edifying and will resonate with you. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. This isn't just a statement, it is an encounter. It is an understanding that requires the very knowing of our own divine nature, or who we are beyond the realm of physicality. What we'll be dealing with today is not a religious truth or a theological truth, nor is it even some sort of truth coming from New Age religion, but a reality that affects us all. This is the real quest of man to know himself. In my humble opinion, you only have a narrow understanding of self until you know who you are. This is not about knowing yourself from an egocentric point of view, but from a divine point of view. To look at this from a religious perspective would be you knowing who you are and what you are in God and what God is in you. It is a kind of knowing I will be talking about today. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them male and female. Genesis 1:27. There's a swift change going on in our world today. God is moving in different arenas, not just in the church. He's moving fast, and he's moving faster than the diseases. He's moving faster than the pandemic. He's moving faster than the media. He's moving with speed of revelation. No eyes has seen, no ears has heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love him. 1 Corinthians 2:9. Science is providing us with too many number of facts and proofs today. That's all we have been trying to communicate to each other all these centuries, the whole religious corpus, generation after generation. To broaden our scope to the divine nature that we all possess, I'll be diving deep into the human cell and see what it is we can unravel there. The cell is so complex in that if all the technologies that ever existed were put together as one single technology, it would take at least a light year to catch up with the sophistication of technology that exists in just one cell. A light year is the speed it takes light to travel in 1 year. And light travels fastest, and this distance would be about 6 trillion miles to 9 trillion kilometers. That is the distance it will take us to catch up. It will take our technology to catch up with the sophistication of technology that exists in just one cell. And this technology is all combined in a tiny space that you can barely see even with the largest microscope in the world. Isn't that in itself divine? The cell translates the environment into biology. Signals touch the cell membrane. That information goes into the cell nucleus, and it creates a biology of information that it's receiving. No two people are the same. I mean, biologically. I can't put my cell into your body because your immune system will not recognize it as a cell. As such, it will eliminate it. Your immune system is protecting you. Vice versa, you can't take your cell and put into my body. My immune system will also eliminate it. But there must be some identity of cell. If not, how will the immune system know and even differentiate the cells in the first place? It must read something. And here's why. On the surface of the cell are little antennas like a radio antenna or a television antenna, and have different frequencies, different vibrational frequencies. So it's like a code. No two people have the same code. So what the body uses to differentiate its cell from another cell is the vibrational frequency from the antennas. In science, these antennas are called self-receptors. Self-receptors. It was previously thought that what made the cell not work in another body was because the antennas, the receptors, were not the same. So Dr. Bruce Lipton, an American scientist, conducted a further study, and he thought, well, if the antennas were different and the cell translates the information it receives in the environment or the field, what creates then the information? Because if you are watching a television, for example, the show didn't come from the antenna of the television set. The show came through a broadcast. The antenna receives the broadcast of the show, and it's transmitted by the television. And immediately it dawned on him, wait a minute, he said, that the reason why a cell cannot work in another body is not that the antennas were different. It is because every cell receives a different broadcast from the environment or the field. Each one of us has our own different vibrational frequencies, our own different broadcasts that is coming in that our cell recognizes. All my cells share the same vibrational frequencies, the same broadcasts, because they all work together in harmony. In other words, they share the same station. Firstly, what the study reveals to us is the human body, which hence I'll be referring to as the television. It's just a metaphor so we could understand better what I'm talking about. It's not the broadcast. It is only a transmitter of visual or sound image coming from the broadcast. Because without the broadcast, the television is just blank. It is just a television set. It means you are not your body, the television. You are the broadcast spirit, a spirit. Because without the spirit, the body is nothing but just a body. So what you are watching right now is my transmission, is a transmission of my own show from my broadcast. We are in this world, but we are not of it. He said, in an instant, he came from just being a scientist who never believed in God or the divine to being a firm believer, to being spiritual, that he felt liberated, such joy he never felt in his entire life. He became fearless because he knew he will never die. His spirit and not the body. In an instant, isn't it amazing how God works in mysterious ways to bring us back to memory, to our memory, to who we truly are? Moses is a prime example of how God manifests himself in unusual ways. When Moses had an encounter with God, it was in the wilderness when he was attending to his father-in-law's sheep, Jethro, that he saw a bush burning that is not consumed. The bush burning in that kind of heat is not an uncommon thing. We see that every day. What we don't see every day was that it was burning, but it was not being consumed by the flame. And that piqued Moses' curiosity to go looking for God in a place he would not normally look for. As a matter of fact, he didn't even know he was looking for God until he discovered it was God looking for him. We forget ourselves and get so lost in our memory, in our ways, that it has to take God himself sometimes to come looking for us. All I just shared with you gets to show us that we are spiritual beings, only having a human experience here on earth. Physicality is the most primitive form of our human existence. The body is only a vessel which houses the spirit because it needs the chemical components that the body possesses for it to experience this earthly dimension, which will enable it to feel, to touch, to taste, to love, to express, to worship, etc. in this realm. What we must always remember, though, is even if we are spirits and we will live forever, it is equally important also not to be passive in this life. Be intentional and move with purpose. This vessel, the body, has a limited time. It has an expiring date. So while you still have it, take care of it. Nurture it. Use it to the glory of the Creator. Don't waste a moment living the past. For who you are becoming is more important than who you have been. Appreciate the people who are in your life. What we have is today. Tomorrow is not in our control. As such, let every bit of this moment count. It is always my pleasure sharing with you. Until next time, remain blessed.